I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
I'm really proud to be an Olympian considering the entire path that I've come on, right? After all of the years of training and thinking about it as a kid, it finally happened and paid off.
It's good to see that somebody can start something and give their best all the way through, and the end result is going to the Olympics. It can be done just on a pond in your backyard.
Jordan Stolz is coming. Now he goes to work on the inside corner, and here goes Stolz blowing right past Yannick DeBow. The best speed skater in the world flies to an Olympic record and the lead.
Get him, Jordan Stolz. Let's go. Kewaskum, Wisconsin, 21 years old, and the most recent person from the Badger State to put a gold medal around their neck in the speed skating category. What's in the water in Wisconsin that makes us fast on speed skates? We'll take it. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. 1 down, 3 to go for Jordan Stolz. He wins in Olympic record fashion yesterday in the 1,000-meter race in Milan for the Olympics. And he's got the 500 on Saturday, the 1,500 on the 19th, and the mass start, which is mass chaos in speed skating, on February 21st. So awesome, Josh, to have medals back around the neck of Wisconsin speed skaters.
I mean, absolutely it is, but also it's great that it's just being highlighted. I don't think a ton of the state knew about Mr. Stolz being here, and to see it on that stage, not just him representing Wisconsin, but hearing his entire story and how, you know, everything that we can appreciate being Wisconsinites is, and then seeing him take home the gold was awesome.
We'll talk more about that later in the show in regard to whether we are aware of who here in Wisconsin is connected to the Olympics. And frankly, if we're even watching, there's a lot of people that are, and I'm learning there's a lot of people that just plain aren't. We'll talk about that at 7 o'clock in the morning mind dump. We know a lot and well that our friend Rami on 9 to noon, not a big Olympic guy. We've got some audio to share from him a few days back, although he did yesterday, Josh, come back out and say, I'm sorry, I came out a little hot on that.
Yeah. Well, he forgot that it wasn't a Take Back Tuesday, so kind of broke the rules there. But I think he took enough heat to where he had to think about it.
Yeah, let's just think about that. But, hey, we did save him with the card in his wife's car for Valentine's Day. You're welcome.
That's right.
All right, time to play catch-up. On to the Brewers.
Brewers.
A move at catcher, bringing back a name we all recognize. Gary Sanchez reportedly signs a 1-year deal worth $1.75 million to back up William Contreras. We know that name. Gary Sanchez was with the Brewers in 2024, played 89 games, declined his 2025 option, instead went to the the Orioles, and now back with the Brewers for 2026. Josh, do you like it?
I'm not. I don't really. It's not moving any needles. I'll tell you that. I'm like, okay. So he's a guy in case we need help. That's essentially it. I don't expect him to be a huge moving piece of the franchise.
What about backup, though? Do you like him
right
there?
That's what I'm saying. As a backup, that's once a week out there behind. Sure. Absolutely. That's great. We can't be pushing Contreras as much as we did last year. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, he can't play through that whole broken finger thing every year. That we can't make that a thing.
No.
What about third base, though? Apparently Jet Williams, ? Maybe somebody else. Corey Knable and Brewers beat writer Kurt Hogg from the Journal Sentinel started a new show called Brewers Territory. It's within the Foul Territory network of shows. And Corey said it's either Jet Williams or maybe something else up Matt Arnold's sleeve.
Looking at obviously Jet's perspective here, he sees this as an opportunity to go out and prove himself. So this could, maybe Matt Arnold's seeing something there, Murphy's seeing it too, they're not going to just sit there and, poor me, right? Well, let's go find a third baseman.
Todd Rosiak from the Journal Sentinel put out a bunch of information yesterday too. They're down there in Arizona talking to the guys, talking to Murph. It is good to have the Brewers back in their uniforms. Did you see any of that yesterday, Josh?
I sure did.
What was your favorite piece?
I mean, I'll be honest. I loved seeing Jesus Mate in there, and just as he's a baby,
He is a baby.
He is a baby. But just seeing him and the kids, because this is what spring training's about, right? It's about those opportunities, and I love the fact that even at that age, he's getting the opportunity, even if he doesn't see any time in the majors this year, like we were talking to Jeff Levering about yesterday. The fact that he's at spring training and he's around that can do nothing but help.
Apparently, Joey Ortiz is rocking a beard too. Dude, whatever works.
Yeah, if it works, keep it.
Put some pine tar in that beard
Mm-hmm.
and use the bat this year. That would be really helpful. All right, out of the Badgers.
Badgers.
We talked yesterday about the big dub that Wisconsin had over Illinois 2 nights ago now, 92-90 in overtime. They are against Michigan State on Friday at 7. It's good to see them still in the hunt for the Big Ten, having a bit of a heater as we go into the Big Ten tournament, hopefully, and March Madness just right around the corner. Hopefully we can catch up with our guy, Brad Davison, maybe tomorrow, maybe early next week after a couple games that will be in Wisconsin's favor. Man, just imagine, Josh, if they would have actually won that game against Indiana the other night, we'd be talking a little bit differently about Bucky.
Well, and that's why I think that people should just realize right now, like you said, they're on a heater. Even though they lost that game, a lot of people think they shouldn't have. And either way, this team could make some noise. This team has pieces. This doesn't seem like the same old Badger team.
Packers made some noise yesterday.
Packers.
A new coach, but kind of not a new coach. Luke Getsy back at the quarterback coach position. We recognize that name from old. Here's Aaron Nagler on what it means.
Some news to talk about in the naming of Luke Getsy to the quarterback coach position after the loss of Sean Mannion. I actually understand this one a little bit, and I understand also the disappointment of perhaps not bringing in some fresh blood, much like they did when they put Mannion in the gig. And I know that certainly seemed to go well. Jordan Love seemed to flourish under Sean Mannion's tutelage after the retirement of a longtime great in Tom Clements. And so I think I understand maybe some misgivings about not bringing in a new name, somebody from outside the building to inject, quote, new ideas on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he's certainly been in the building for a hot second, on and off. He was here as the offensive quality control coach from 2014 to 2015, then became wide receivers coach in 16 and 17 under Mike McCarthy, returned as Matt LaFleur's quarterback coach in 2019, and then QB coach and passing game coordinator in 2020 and 2021. And then the Bears.
Yeah.
22-23 is the offensive coordinator. Learned his lesson. Chicago's no place for anybody from Wisconsin. Off to the Raiders as their offensive coordinator. And then when that all went belly up in Los Angeles / Oakland / wherever they were, now he's back in Green Bay as the quarterback's coach. I mentioned, Josh, in previous shows that there's this welcome back luncheon that the Green Bay Chamber of Commerce puts on. One of the times I was there, Luke Getsy sat at the table, got to chat with him some years ago when he was QB coach the first time around. What are your thoughts on him running it back in the room with Jordan Love?
I think it's fine. I was actually going to ask your opinion because I know that like even that clip we played of Nagler there, he made it seem like, yeah, I understand people's frustration and wanting something new. but I don't know necessarily that in every single spot. I think that as a quarterback's coach, I'm not expecting Jordan Love to necessarily need a whole lot of new guidance, right? He's not a rookie. He's been around a minute. I expect Jordan Love to be able to do Jordan Love things. And so I'm fine with Luke Getsy being there.
I don't mind the retread. I know some people are using that word. I also think that we really like familiar in the Packers organization. We've talked about not running it back for some weeks now. They're not going to run it back with their assistant special teams coordinator. We'll talk about that later in the show in the I Have Questions portion. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Familiar is fine for Green Bay, and we like comfy. So Luke Getsy back in the quarterback room. Makes sense. Look at the Bucks. 116-108 against the Magic last night. New guy, Cam Thomas, on a heater.
5-point lead for the Bucks. Shot clock down to 10. Cam Thomas would go up to the clock. He'll take a 38-foot jumper. He got it for 3. Jalen Suggs just looked at him. Well, he had picked up his dribble. Yeah.
At some point in the game, they looked down the bench and said, hey, Cam, you're up. Go ahead. 34 points later off the bench, he leads the Bucks to a big dub. 12 of 20 from the field, 4 of 6 from three-pointers, 100% from the three-point line, and a big road win for Milwaukee. I giggle because I don't know what the Bucks are doing. Josh said yesterday he doesn't know.
No clue.
We're just going to keep reporting on what they're up to. I thought there was a cute moment with Giannis in the game last night with the announcers on the TV side. I would have loved for him to put on the headset that Lisa Byington tried to hand him. That would have been awesome. Just standing there courtside getting a piece of gum. What's up, Giannis? Hey, man. Good to see you're here.
Yeah.
For number one.
Right. Thanks for being
What's
here.
New?
No, I thought it was great. I keep going back and forth. That's why it's so frustrating. It was great to see a new guy and an acquisition from the Bucks come in and make that much noise. And then you see Giannis, and Giannis gave him kind of like a look after he made that 38-footer. And I'm going, okay, so that was good. So Giannis is happy with that. So this is, all right, now let's get these two playing together. And then I go, wait. Is that what I want? Do I want to see that? I don't know. Let's keep going back and forth. Are you
actively watching the Bucks still, Josh?
I am. I was last night because I'm trying to figure out. One, I wanted to see like what Cam Thomas was going to do. This is only his second game. But also, after they lost to the Magic the night before, I was like, okay, so maybe that loss, and then if they lost last night, I was like, maybe that's a little bit more of a sign of the tank is on. And then they didn't lose. And so now I'm back to this question mark of I'm just going to sit back and enjoy whatever the heck happens. Because I don't know what the plan is. It does not feel like the Bucks are actively tanking.
Anything else?
Anything else?
We mentioned it at the top, and we will play the entire race for you in the most electrifying sound of the day. Kewaskum's Jordan Stolz, the number one speed skater on the male side in the entire world, wins gold in the 1,000 meters in Milan. 1 down, 3 to go. And according to Bonnie Blair on the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame podcast, there's a chance he comes home with 4 medals.
Yeah, so Jordan from Kewaskum here in Wisconsin, he's going to be, he's realistically, and I'm not kidding, he's got a shot for bringing home 4 medals.
1980 was when Eric Heiden, a name of the past, won 5 gold medals in 5 events in the speed skating category. He was ballistic. The 500, the 1,000, the 1,500, the 500, and the 10,000. It appears that Jordan Stolz will have the best chance of even coming close to Heiden's record, and especially being a Wisconsinite.
I mean, that was super cool. But, I mean, do you think it happens? He looked dominant in the first one, but I don't know. It's the same thing. Like, I'm just trusting Bonnie Blair, right? She knows more than I do. And so when you hear her go out and say, yeah, no, you're going to want to watch this kid, you watch the kid.
Yep, that's what you do. If Bonnie says there's a chance, then there's a chance. She definitely knows what she's talking about. Interesting about the 1,000 meter yesterday, he holds the world record in that event. Yesterday set an Olympic record in the 1,000 meter as he came back to beat somebody he was chasing from the Dutch, Jenning de Boo. And that's the only worry about the 500, Josh. He took his time in the 1,000 to make sure he had a moment to chase him down. 500 meters shorter than that, I'm not sure it would have ended that way. So we'll see. Sure. February 14th, Saturday, Valentine's Day. That's when that race occurs. And then 2 more next week. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. A tough one for UW Green Bay tonight at the Crest Center, 6 o'clock. The men are on ESPN2. If you missed our chat yesterday with Coach Doug Gottlieb, not one segment, but 2 segments, you need to go and find that, Josh. Where can they find it?
Yeah, you can find it at WI Sports Radio or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You could also go back and find it on YouTube. And I was thinking, especially that second segment, we might even replay that tomorrow in honor of Valentine's Day, because Doug was here for all of you. And so if you missed it and you're worried about Valentine's Day on Saturday, trust UWGB men's head basketball coach Doug Gottlieb and put your worries to rest.
Why can't you get that out without giggling, Joshua?
I just, it's not what I had him down. When I look at his resume, I didn't have that on his resume. Love doctor.
Love supporter. Yeah, that's definitely worthy of making sure that he has everyone's back when it comes to gifts for Valentine's Day and what's a trap and what's not a trap.
That's right.
I Have Questions is up next. We need yours because we have answers. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. Why can't the Packers have nice things? Why can't somebody go, hey, Rich, we're interested in hiring your assistant. Do you want to come along?
Why don't you come with? Pack that bag.
Nope. Turns out we're good with your assistants. You go ahead and stay there. What? My patients are gone.
Ooh.
I have no patience left. It's February 12th.
Ooh.
It's over. It's over. We're definitely running it back. And I have questions. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Good morning. If you missed last night's Hot Stove Weekly show, good news. You can look it up at wisportsradio.com. Check out Sparky's interview with Brewers starting pitcher Chad Patrick and first baseman Andrew Vaughn. wisportsradio.com. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, wondering if we're delusional. There was a guy on the Packers staff in the special teams room that another team thought was special teams coordinator worthy, and it's not ours? I have questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious. Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nick-DeLay Law fan talk in text line 414-677-1250. I don't get fired up about much on the negative side of the ball. I'm a little fired up about this one.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Byron Storer, the Packers assistant special teams coordinator, who, by the way, Brian Gutekunst was happy with. Remember, Goody in his end-of-season presser came out and said, I think we're playing as well as we have in a really long time on special teams. I paused and went, there's something Goody's seeing that I don't know exists. And that happens a lot in life. Oftentimes I find myself going, damn, you know more about stuff, fill in the blank, that I even knew existed. We all can do our trade very well. My best friend in the world is an electrician. And I joke with him all the time. If you need me to reach wire and pull wire for you and get it from A to B, I can do that.
Sure.
The rest of it, I'm out. And he goes, if you think I could sit in front of a microphone and make any sense, you're crazy. So we all have our gifts. Apparently, there's a gifted person in the special teams office, the team, within 1265 at Lombardi Avenue, Green Bay, Wisconsin. 543. Cleveland called and said, hey, we are really impressed with you, Byron. Do you want to be our special teams coordinator?
Yeah, and he said, who, me? Wait, you're talking to me?
So apparently, Cleveland saw some things in our special teams that they really liked. And they went and got the guy that's been attached to Rich Bisaccia's hip for a really long time. He was with Bisaccia in Tampa Bay, and then the Raiders, and now the Packers. A long run in the special teams area within the NFL, and apparently a coordinator in the waiting. Okay. If he was what Rich Bisaccia was hanging on by a thread with, I'm nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Because I personally don't know what to watch for when it comes to special teams, but my eyes told me, as did my blood pressure, that things weren't perfect.
No,
this last season.
Yeah. Yep.
But there were things that were apparently improved. Coverage and tackles and all the things that you don't look for when the special teams, hands teams, drops an onside kick. Okay, got it. In Rich Bisaccia, we were told to trust. And I did not know there was a gifted person underneath him. And now there's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look at this move, right? And you go, okay, so either one, if the guy under Rich Bisaccia was so good, then why didn't the Packers promote him? Right?
Because we have a special teams coordinator, Josh, that we believe in.
No, but so that made me think, okay, so then we should have kept him if he was worth someone else coming up and snatching off of our team. Or two, if he is just part of the problem and he's not better than Rich Bisaccia, then why is he getting picked? It's not like the Browns just needed to fill a spot, right? They didn't just go like, oh, crap, we need to have a special teams coordinator, don't we?
Well, they did have an opening. Their
previous
previous special teams coordinator left for the Rams in late January, and the new guy, Todd Monken, is trying to fill out his staff essentially. So they did have an opening.
Right, but he chose the Packers. He chose the Packers special teams room.
That's the question.
Right. Why?
What are we missing is my question.
I would love to know from someone within the Browns organization what their thought process was on even exploring the Packers special teams room. Like, how did they come here and go, you know what? I think that assistant under Rich Bisaccia is gold. How did they get there? What you talk about what Brian Gutekunst could see that you and I can't see? What the hell did the Browns guy see that we can't see? Because that was just that's why we have all the questions. That's where all the question marks came from for me was how did you land here of all the teams and all the special teams coordinators or assistants? The Packers guy? How?
Well, apparently this dude has been a coordinator in waiting under Bisaccia for some time. So the Browns saw him, and a report yesterday called it a big hire for head coach Todd Monken. Okay, now what? So if let's just hypothetically
don't
say
do it. Just don't do it.
That he was the reason everything was going really well in Green Bay. And now he's gone. And now we have Rich Bisaccia. And whoever else is in, I don't want to go look up who else is in there because I don't know anything about what they do.
Yeah, right.
But if he was the glue,
I mean, N. Conson on YouTube, watching us on the YouTube stream, said, Josh, it's the Browns. Okay. So maybe you're saying that we're giving the Browns too much credit and it's the Browns. But I'll tell you this. If the Browns come out this next season and they end up having a good special teams and we have Rich Bisaccia in Green Bay, I'm going to lose my mind. If we had a guy that was sitting there waiting, just like the rest of the state of Wisconsin, for Rich Bisaccia to be shown the door, and it never came, and the Browns said, we'll give you a chance, and that guy goes off in Cleveland, oh, I will be relentless. This will be awful.
Bad.
Oh, really bad.
You also know, very early on in the Brown season, there will be a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown because that's just God's sense of humor.
I don't know. I don't like it. I do have to say though, like, again, the reason why there's so many questions around this is because if I was any other team, I wouldn't want to pick off anyone off of the Bisaccia special teams tree right now. Like, how do you look at the numbers? How do they make that decision in this guy? What, just because maybe he's been a special teams assistant for a while? So you think he's knowledgeable? Because statistically it's not showing it. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Statistically, Luke Getsy is a good decision for quarterback coach. 2019, 13-3, won the NFC North. 2020, 13-3, won the NFC North. 2021, 13-4, won the NFC North. One problem, that wasn't Jordan Love. So are there things that Getsy saw when he was in the QB room with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers that he can plug into Jordan Love to maybe get him over the hump? And I'm not saying Jordan Love's not the guy, although I do think there are a lot of people asking that question still. Maybe this is something the Packers needed. #optimism,
There you go.
although many people call it insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. That feeling coming in from the 920 saying the word you're looking for on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. The word you're looking for is insanity, and it's delusional.
I don't know that I feel that way. I don't. Am I wrong here? Am I wrong in feeling like this was the area that we needed super fresh, give a guy a chance? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
that
think
it is
it's a bad
insanity.
move personally, but I do have questions about what we should expect from it. I was impressed by him personally, but I don't know the sport the way he does. I do see value in having another fresh set of eyes that had eyes on Aaron Rodgers, looking at Jordan Love and seeing if there are mechanical things that are maybe holding Jordan back. I do think there's other coaching opportunities for Jordan on how to protect thyself when running and playing the quarterback position in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big question that we should be looking at in regards to that hire of Luke Getsy is let's take a step back and look at Jordan Love. What do we want Jordan Love to improve on? And then do we think that Luke Getsy is the guy that can help him do that? I don't know necessarily. Like, we'd have to hyper-focus, in my opinion, on what Jordan Love needs to get better at. You brought up staying healthy, right? Okay, so we can look at that. I think especially down the stretch, Jordan Love played great. I know that there were a few people at the end of the season that put the blame on Jordan Love, and I didn't understand that argument. I thought that Jordan Love was the opposite of the problem. I thought he was the highlight in that last stretch of games. So I think that, to your point, if Luke Getsy can be the guy that was there with Aaron Rodgers that can help just kind of round out a few things with Jordan Love, fine-tune some things, great. This isn't a brand new quarterback we have in Green Bay. This isn't something to where we needed a Clemens to come in. He was here. He's worked with Jordan Love. I'm going to hope that Jordan Love retains that, right? When you go through school, you have a professor that helps you learn things, and then you get a new professor that helps you learn other things. So hopefully, that's my hope. My optimistic hope is that this is just another person that can help kind of fine-tune and shape Jordan Love.
Do you think that there is a hump that Jordan Love is a little stuck on? Is there something that we're not seeing from him that we should be in year 4 this season for him to be able to be? Because they've talked about it on other programs on the radio station, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, about how Jordan Love is good, but he's not great yet. The Packers weren't picked of one of the top 6 teams in the NFL by certain outlets to win the Super Bowl next year. And the teams that were picked seem to have quarterbacks that are in the great category. I personally, to your point, also agree that Jordan Love isn't the problem, but can he be, if he gets over the hump, the solution?
We go to the 262 here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, where they say the number one problem with Jordan Love that nobody barely talks about is that he can't throw the long ball. He constantly underthrows it, and then the defender gets to make a play on the ball. Somebody, anybody, needs to tell him to throw that ball further. It drives me crazy.
We saw that a few times this past season.
Yep.
There is one solution to that, and it's the offensive line. It seems like Jordan Love has time that is of the essence in the pocket specifically. Oftentimes, we saw him this past season throwing off his back foot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it worked out, but especially with the long ball, those are things that you need to feel protected on and take your time. And maybe that's a mechanics piece. Whether he has the protection or not, he needs to stay in there and put everything he has into the throws, because one could perceive that if you're throwing off your back foot because you feel like you're going to get rocked any second, that's where an underthrow could plausibly come from.
You talked about him staying healthy. When I just think back to this last season, I feel like there were multiple opportunities where I wish he would have used his legs, and I would have seen Jordan run a little bit more and and get that instead of feeling like you could have just gotten the first down on 3rd and 2. It was there. You could have ran for that, and instead you're airing it out 30 yards. And that's, I think, was frustrating then when we saw Malik in, because Malik didn't do that. Malik ran it for those first downs. And I think that was a big difference why people started having that argument of Malik over Love.
Is there something to be said about people on Matt LaFleur's staff that leave for bigger opportunities and absolutely poo the bed and then end up back in Green Bay? This didn't go well for Getsy when he was in Chicago. It clearly didn't go well when the I have gold, I want gold guy from the offense went out to Denver and became their head coach. His name is not top of mind at the moment.
Yeah.
Is there something to be said that there is, I mean, maybe this special teams guy that is under Bisaccia goes to Cleveland and proves us all wrong, but there just doesn't seem to be a good track record. Jeff Hafley obviously is going to show us a thing or two in Miami, maybe.
True. I don't know. I think I don't think that it's a common theme. I don't think there's enough of a common theme, especially if guys crawling back to 1265. But again, I don't know. I have more questions about what the Browns did than what the Packers did. I'll put it that way. If I'm looking at one of the hires between the Browns hiring a special teams coordinator from the Packers or the Packers bringing in Luke Getsy, I'm questioning the Browns more than I am the Packers.
Nathaniel Hackett thinks 262.
Oh, yeah.
One more piece here on Bisaccia, if we will, to sum up the conversation in regard to the special teams piece. Jeff from Luxembourg and others that have heard John Kuhn talk about Rich Bisaccia. Jeff sends a text here. Good morning, by the way, guys. Love you guys. They're the best. They're the best.
Yeah, amazing.
We ran into Rich during the showcase of homes last year, talked with Rich for 10 minutes, and we immediately liked him. Was very nice. Even cracked a joke about the $5 million home they were in. And he can see, Jeff says, how he's so liked apparently at 1265. All of that is true.
Correct.
And that's the hard part about this job, is that the job that you and I do, Josh.
Yep.
The conversation that we have in sports talk radio is much more about the perceived performance of the position and how special teams did or didn't do this year that ultimately falls on the coordinator. And we, Josh and I, pride ourselves on being fans. We're not beat writers. We're not people that cover the team. This show eats, breathes, and you know what's Wisconsin sports through the eyes of fans. Some massively optimistic, some very pessimistic, and some realistic. But either way, it's all through the eyes of the fan. I'm sure Rich Bisaccia is a wonderful person.
Super nice guy. Absolutely.
I just have questions about special teams. And when it comes to how the program operates, I really want to know how important Sir Byron was to the success. And that's what we're going to find out.
But was it success?
Well, that's just it, Josh. In Goody's eyes and in Matt LaFleur's eyes and in Ed Policy's eyes, it was. And so if we as fans are going to trust in the organization to make the decisions that are going to put the Packers in the best spot for success, and they're really seemingly running it back, then I personally have to take a step back and go, I was wrong. I think I was wrong. I'm not seeing what Rich Bisaccia is doing well, but it's there. I'm not seeing why Matt LaFleur is the answer, which, by the way, I heard a stat on the way in this morning. There's been one coach in all of NFL history that has won a Super Bowl in their 8th season or after. One. Take a wild guess.
I was going to, don't make me get,
one
Andy
coach.
Reid.
No. The name that was dropped was John Madden. John Madden. So no other coach in the history of the NFL in 8 seasons or more has ever won a Super Bowl.
Jeez.
Matt LaFleur is going into his 8th season. So maybe we get to add him to the list. Cool. That'd be wonderful.
Run it back.
Well, but that's my point, right? So there are a lot of things here that leave us scratching our heads going, This is either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. And anything short of winning the North and getting at least back to the NFC Championship game is going to be considered really, really bad.
And
I'm sure
that's a high bar. People need to realize that's
is.
a high bar, and yet it is where the bar is set.
But it has to be. Look at the success of other teams and other head coaches. All right, we got to go and get to the most electrifying sound of the day, and that involves gold from the Olympics. We're back in a bit. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for
The most electrifying,
sound of the day
the most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Jordan Stolz begins his pursuit of the podium here in Milan.
And what a fantastic pair to see it happening. He's racing his biggest rival, another Dutch prodigy, Jenning de Boer. As we're watching this 1,000, it is not unusual for Stolz to be slightly down, even through the 600 meters. Wow, look at that, 16-0 for de Boer, 16-1 for Stolz.
Two massive openers. Now Stolz on that first inside corner, surging ahead. Both athletes up near 38 miles an hour.
And de Boer now has the advantage because he got to chase the American skater through that first corner. Big lead here. The Dutchman is pulling a bit of a gap. Stolz now will have the chance to chase him in this final lap.
These are your top two. This is a position Stolz has been in before, behind entering the final lap. He has the best lap in the world, but now or never down the backstretch. Jordan Stolz is coming. Now he goes to work on the inside corner. And here goes Stolz, blowing right past Jenning de Boer. The best speed skater in the world flies to an Olympic record and the lead.
And that call by Bill Spaulding and NBC of Jordan Stolz winning gold is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress, connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Awesome. Just awesome. You know what, like, that length of time for that race too, like, definitely had like Kentucky Derby like vibes to it, to where it was like you're glued the entire time, but it also wasn't like over too quick. I loved it. The whole thing was perfect.
106.28. That's the Olympic record time that Stolz set when he won the gold yesterday at the age of 21. Kewaskum, Wisconsin's very own. The 500 is next for Jordan on Saturday, the 14th, Valentine's Day, and then two races next week to see if indeed he can bring to life the prophetic Bonnie Blair's futuristic thinking of bringing 4 gold medals back to Wisconsin. That would be the most ever by a male athlete on speed skates in the U.S. history, other than our guy Eric Heiden in 1980, who brought back 5. So how do we feel about the Olympics as a whole? Are we watching them? Are we aware of what's going on? Are we happy with the results? How much do we care? It comes around every 2 years, winter, summer, winter, summer. Mm-hmm. They're going to be back in the U.S. here not long from now. So are we paying attention? Do we enjoy it? Or do you, for some crazy reason, do you have disdain toward the Olympics? That's today's morning mind dump. We checked in with Rami, or at least checked up with Rami, on how he felt about the Olympics on the show 9 to noon with Kuhn, and it took us back a bit. And so we're going to share our thoughts plus yours on the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line 414-677-1250. How do we feel about the Olympics? That's next in the morning mind dump. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Can you skate?
No.
Can we try?
No.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
I'm really proud to be an Olympian considering the entire path that I've come on, right? After all of the years of training and thinking about it as a kid, it finally happened and paid off.
It's good to see that somebody can start something and give their best all the way through, and the end result is going to the Olympics. It can be done just on a pond in your backyard.
Jordan Stolz is coming. Now he goes to work on the inside corner. And here goes Stolz, blowing right past Yannick DeBow. The best speed skater in the world flies to an Olympic record and the lead.
Jordan Stolz, 1 down, 3 to go. Wisconsin's own and the latest gold medalist for Team USA in speed skating. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. The morning mind dump is upon us, and today we're processing just how much we should or shouldn't, or maybe how much we are or aren't paying attention to the Olympics. And we have some thoughts. Here we go.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We've got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the morning mind dump on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
So when it comes to the Olympics, we were a little taken aback by our guy, Rami Makloff, who hosts 9 to Noon along with John Kuhn, about how he felt about the Olympics. For us, it was like, yeah, we watched the Olympics. We're aware of the Olympics. We want to talk about the Olympics and specifically the Wisconsin connections to the Olympics. Mm-hmm. But I certainly don't have any disdain for the Olympics. I don't think Josh has any disdain.
Nope.
Rami sure does, though. Listen to this.
I feel like the Olympics is manipulative. I feel like they want to use my patriotism and my love for country to get me to watch something that I don't care about for 4 years at a time, just so I can watch ads for like McDonald's or Coca-Cola or whatever the case might be. Like, that's all that this is. They're just using your patriotism to pull you into things that you don't really care about. You don't. If you did, you'd be watching figure skating for the 4 years in between. You'd be watching skiing and bobsledding and whatever, and the thing where the guys ski and then shoot and then ski and then shoot and then ski and then shoot. Like, what? why is it suddenly interesting now, other than the fact that they're telling you it's for country?
So at first, I really just wanted to be like, cool, so Rami hates America. He's stupid. Let's move on. And then I thought, he might not be alone. There are a lot of people I know that hate soccer. I mean, hate soccer. And then the World Cup comes along, and it's like, well, I mean, I turned on the World Cup for, the one game that the U.S. was in. And it's the same thing with the Olympics for a lot of people. And he brings up a good point. I'm not watching any other ice skating competitions. None. I watch ice skating once every 2 years during the Olympics. So what is it about the Olympics that that make it. Is Rami right in the fact that they're just saying, yay, America, now watch the sport you don't care about, brought to you by Coca-Cola and McDonald's. And then yesterday, you saw the story on Jordan Stolz. And you saw the report. And if you didn't, you can go on Peacock. You can go on YouTube. You can see it. There was like a 3.5-minute piece that was just on Jordan and his family growing up in Kewaskum, Wisconsin, and how, they weren't allowed to watch TV at all. And then their parents were like, well, all right, the Olympics are good. We'll let you watch the Olympics. And they saw Apollo Ono and fell in love. And their house, there was a pond, and it froze over. And Dad went out there and he made a little short track. And there's video of them as these little kids. And it was adorable watching these little kids tumble over and fall, to then getting to the point to where now he's the best in the world. That is what makes the Olympics different. That's what I think is the connection. That's why we watch. It's not just the fact that it's so that we can chant USA. It's that these are people that have literally, they have to perfect a craft. They can't be good at it. They have to be perfect to win. Like, he set an Olympic record by being a second faster than the next guy. That's incredible. This isn't like football, to where, depending on which way the ball bounces, and maybe you can still win the Super Bowl, even though during the regular season you led the league in interceptions. You have to be perfect in what you do to get to the Olympics and then to win the Olympics. And so I think when you tie all of those things together, the fact that it doesn't happen all the time, the fact that these are literally the best in the world at this one specific craft, and the fact that they're representing your country, that's why we pay attention. That's why.
The Olympics happen every 2 years. The next set of Olympics are in 2028, the Summer Olympics.
Yep.
And then 2 years after that, the Winter Olympics come back. We watch the Super Bowl every single year. Our favorite team with our favorite players in the National Football League come together for a championship once a year. So too is true with the Olympic Games, only it's a worldwide thing. And in the summer, specifically, there are a lot more sports that we're used to watching on a regular basis, i.e. the Dream Team on the basketball side.
Mm-hmm.
Rami's take, although interesting to kind of step back and go, Jesus, there's some weird conspiracy thing with the Olympics and advertising and why it draws us in, especially using our patriotism for the United States and having, a lot of excitement watching our people, our players do really well. And then you just kind of scratch your head and go, what in the ever-living F was that?
Yeah.
Rami.
Yeah.
Holy mother. Dude, it's the Olympics. It just happens every other year, and that's okay. We do watch basketball. We do watch certain things or participate in life like trap shooting. There are a lot of people in the state of Wisconsin that connect with hockey.
Well,
I just don't happen to be one of them. So
I was going to say that's a difference, though, right? There are people that might watch the Summer Olympics for basketball. They'll watch Team USA basketball play because they watch basketball. They know it. They're familiar with the sport. That's entertaining to them. They're seeing the NBA players that they usually watch play now representing
the same
the
is
Olympics.
true for hockey.
Correct. So some people might be watching hockey the same. They're not watching bobsled. They're not watching figure skating. They're
Who
not
cares?
watching speed skating.
You know what I think Rami's trying to do is tell us how to fan.
Oh, he absolutely is. And incorrectly. So don't do it.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. And maybe he had a morning. I can't relate. I've never gone off on the radio station about something that irked me. That doesn't happen, Matt LaFleur. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line, 414-677-1250. So the question here in the morning mind dump, A, is Rami off his rocker? And B, how much are you paying attention to the Olympics? I mean, there are a lot of Wisconsin connections in the Olympics. Jordan Stolz, we just got done talking about him. Ben Loomis on the Nordic side, Deandra Irwin and the biathlon. 6 Badgers, we talked about this yesterday, on the U.S. women's Olympic roster. 4 playing, 2 former Badgers, 1 the captain. I mean, this isn't without connection to the state of Wisconsin, specifically championship connections.
Right. I think if I try to play devil's advocate, I try to understand where other people are coming from. So I'm trying to understand where Rami's coming from. I think that the point that he's making is that even those Wisconsin connections, though, you weren't following, the Stolz career. You didn't know what Stolz, even though he is a Wisconsin native, you didn't watch his races beyond the Olympics. You weren't aware of the other competitions he was racing in, won. You didn't see when he set the world record because you don't actually care about speed skating.
Are you talking to you as me or you in general?
I'm saying the if I put myself in Rami's shoes, as Rami, if I'm helping Rami's point, I'm saying you, the audience, you, the people that are pro Olympics, he's saying you didn't watch Stolz do this. You weren't that type of fan. Now you're all in. You're passionate about it, and it's just because they're in red, white, and blue. Ziggy here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line says, Rami is 100% correct. I cannot believe I just said that on the radio. But he says, it's all about rooting for the country and our people. Look, I don't know what a quad triple flip axel is, but I know it's good when I see it.
Wait, so if Rami's correct, then why do you watch, Ziggy?
He's saying he watches for the same reasons that Rami is saying we watch. It has nothing to do with the sport. It has everything to do with the fact that they just slap the USA on the back and go, okay, now watch the sport because you love America.
But, well, that's the truth. And Rami was saying that that's wrong. Where Rami, in terms of Ziggy's eyes here, is saying that he's correct in that that's the only reason we root for it. Fine. I, too, don't know what a quad triple flip axel niner is. No idea. But I know what a goal is. I know how incredible Miracle was.
Right.
We're not talking about things that are completely off the rocker to us. Everybody knows what bobsledding is, what the luge is. Everybody knew that Lindsey Vonn shattered her leg during the accident in the downhill skiing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all something that's very relative and newsworthy. I just don't understand why it's got people fired up. Listen to this one from Rhino. Rami isn't even remotely close to being right. It's no different than the people who don't watch the regular season, but will always tune in to the Super Bowl. It's competition at the highest level. I don't need to be a full-time bobsled fan to want to tune in and see my country compete on the world stage. Rami is full of...
Yeah, I agree with everything that Rhino said. I think that the biggest thing for me is when Rami said, it feels like they're just using my patriotism to essentially get me to watch this for advertising reason. I don't know.
What's the difference between patriotism and statriotism, though? Hang on just a second. Why is that wrong? Why is us having patriotism for the USA different than us having statriotism for Wisconsin?
Well, and that's exactly it. It's not. That's his argument of, yeah, you don't like the sport. You just want to cheer for the USA. Why is that bad? Why can I not want to just watch it because these are the best athletes at something that are representing my country? To be honest with you, if there was, I don't know, a science competition and it was put on TV and publicized and promoted and the U.S. was going against another country, I would be there being like, come on, out-science these guys. Let's go. Why is that bad? Why is it
just not tech? Let's not go into a tech competition.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I'd probably be disappointed, but I'm saying like I would still feel that desire to want to cheer on my fellow Americans. I don't understand why that isn't a good enough reason to want to watch the Olympics, even if you don't care about the sports.
I just think Rami was pissed that he had to go through McDonald's on the way to the office because the Olympics told him that Big Macs were on sale or something.
Are they on sale?
I don't know.
Oh.
Jeff from Luxembourg. I love following the Wisconsin connections. I never watch speed skating unless a kid from Kewaskum is in it. I don't watch the NHL, but there's something about watching Olympic hockey. I'll find it and watch it if I can. That's exactly right. It's totally how the majority of us feel.
Listen, I hate to be this guy. I don't watch a ton of women's Badger hockey. I don't. I probably should. I enjoy hockey. I don't watch anywhere near as much of it as I would like. These girls now, just changing the color of their uniforms, I'm all in. I'm all in. Just
the 920 said, I would watch a spelling bee if the Americans were up against other countries.
Yes.
We'd probably lose, this person says, but still rooting.
Right.
Nick in Greenfield, I love watching even unfamiliar events. What's not to love about a dude strapping a gun to his back and going skiing? Pretty much.
Yep.
It's just not wearing orange. That's why it's not super recognizable to us. How are you going to learn about other sports and not stay in a box of watching the main four sports? Chris from Oconomowoc. That's exactly right. I enjoy the Olympics because I like watching people do extraordinary things that would put me in the hospital, and they make it look easy from the 608. Here's Jacob in a van. People are fired up about this. Most of the time, it's not about the sport. It's about the story of the athlete and the competition. That's the most interesting thing of the game.
Ding, 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 ding. Winner. That's it. That's it.
The Super Bowl comparison in devil's advocate form from the 317 proves his point. People that don't watch football only watch the Super Bowl for all the other stuff. I don't think that's what Rami was saying, though. Rami's not saying you watch the Olympics for the commercials. Rami's saying he doesn't understand why people feel so compelled to watch the Olympics and then have to put up with the advertising, which he feels, for lack of better terms, is propaganda.
He's essentially saying, what Rami is essentially saying is that if you take away the countries being tied to the athletes, it loses its sizzle. You're not watching the Olympics if they're not representing the countries. You don't actually care about bobsled. You don't actually care about luge. You never turn on ESPN 8 and go, oh, luge is on. I got to sit down and watch this. My point is, you're right, Rami. I don't. But because they strap the countries and put USA on the back, and this person is the best, because it's also really difficult to make it there. It's a lot easier to just be in a normal competition. Remember when we talked about, not Bonnie Blair, Dan Jansen? Oh, maybe it was Bonnie. One of them. And no, it was Dan. And I said, where are the other medals? Where are your other medals? He didn't know.
Right.
He didn't even know where his other, but he knew where his Olympic gold medal was. And I asked him that, and he kind of, made him go, oh, crap, I should probably have those. And then he said, well, it's just, they're not the Olympics. He's an Olympic athlete who straight up admitted, and his whole life was speed skating. And he still went, they weren't the Olympics. If an athlete is admitting that to me, that's all the vindication I need.
Scotty Tiffany says, one of Rami's points is that these sports aren't watched outside of the Olympics. So why would he bother if he never watches it anyway? It's like a kid who grows up being a picky eater. Just because you're not exposed to something doesn't mean you're not potentially missing out on something spectacular. That's a great comparison.
Yeah.
I still don't like anchovies. I think they're stupid. All right, 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Keep your morning mind dumps coming in about the Olympics, and that has a little bit to do with the next topic of conversation in regard to sports memorabilia. So when we chatted with our Olympic athletes from Wisconsin, Bonnie Blair, Dan Jansen, we asked to see their Olympic memorabilia, and it was absurd.
Yeah.
Dan showed us that gold medal that he's got on display in a case in his house. Bonnie Blair took us into her living room, which might as well be her trophy case, with an amazing coffee table with all of her medals in them, which, by the way, I saw her wearing one in one of the more recent interviews. So they do get cracked out of the shell from time to time.
Yeah, they can be taken out. Yeah.
Bonnie Blair and Dan Jansen both had those Olympic torches that they carried. Like, hello,
I know.
Holy memorabilia.
Amazing.
Batman. I saw the other day that Kirk Sidnetti's headset from the national championship game sold for something like $112,000. It was dumb. Have you ever gotten your hands on something that you purchased from a memorabilia standpoint in Wisconsin, or maybe you have something that's worth a lot of money? What are they? What are the pieces of sports memorabilia that have a dollar sign attached to them? And some of these things are infinite. They're priceless. I mean, how much do you offer Bonnie Blair? Hey, Bonnie, I want to buy that Olympic torch from you. I don't think there's a number.
No, agreed.
There might be a number.
I mean, everybody has a price for the $1 million man.
Everybody has a price. We'll talk about that, plus keep the Olympic conversation going. That's next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Reminder, Wisconsin, if at any point you miss a portion of the show today, tomorrow, or yesterday, did you miss our conversation with Coach Doug Gottlieb of UWGB? Good news, it still exists in the ether world, net web stuff.
Nailed it.
WISportsradio.com and or your favorite podcast platform. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Open them up, search Inside Wisconsin Sports, and there you will find the latest and greatest from Josh and I. You definitely got to go check out our chat yesterday with Doug Gottlieb. That is quickly becoming, we're hoping, frankly, that continues after the season.
Yeah.
It's that good. Yes, it has to do with college basketball and him coaching and all the things, but it's also just Doug Gottlieb. And he, in terms of personality, real funny.
Very true.
All right, so we saw that Kurt Signetti's game-worn headset went for $112,000 at auction.
Insane.
Which, pause. What?
Right. I wonder how much of the fact that he became a meme. You know what I'm talking about? Like with where he's like looking down the line to see if it was a first down. And so many people were sharing that clip saying, me when I see that my wife's making my favorite meal, or me looking down the fairway knowing I'm about to duff this 7 feet in front of me. I wonder if that played into it at all for the price.
So connect that headset to something here in Wisconsin. What are some of the things over the years that we've seen get sold for at auction that kind of made us scratch our head? Or are there items that we either own that are worth a lot of money, or are there items you wish you owned that were worth a lot of money, but you're frankly not cutting the check? What's on your list, Josh?
Yeah, I was thinking about this a lot, and I was looking around. I have too much sports memorabilia, but none of it is stuff that I would ever be able to make a nice chunk of change on or spent a big amount on. Also, I'm someone that I have a few jerseys signed. Like Zach Greinke was always one of my favorites. So when I had the opportunity to meet him when the Brewers used to do like their Winter Fest, you remember that? That was fun.
Was it called On Deck? Brewers on Deck?
Yeah, Brewers on Deck, I think.
Yeah.
And
love that. They should bring that back.
I know, that was so much fun. But Zach Greinke was there at one of them, and I was like, I literally went and got a jersey and then waited in line for hours just to have him sign it. But I had him sign it to Josh, to me. I didn't want him to just sign it in case at some point I would want to sell it for X amount of dollars. I was like, no. Make this to me. This is going to be mine. And so for that reason alone, I don't have a lot of valuables. They're only valuables to me, things that are signed to me. My kids won't. My kids would be able to be like, yeah, this is something someone signed for my dad. It's no resale value.
What about items that you saw, though, or that you've seen that either got sold in regard to Wisconsin or that you would want to buy in regard to Wisconsin?
Yeah, I don't really know. I'll tell you one thing I always thought was cool, and this is why I was geeking out. If you go back and you watch that video we had with Bonnie Blair, was a torch. So we actually had at my grade school, one of the teachers there got to be hold like an Olympic torch. And like the way that it works, like once they pass it, they let you keep the torch. And I always thought that was so cool that like you had an Olympic torch, like you were a part of this huge epic thing forever. And when you brought up the last segment and said, like, I don't think you put a value on that for Bonnie Blair. I know that obviously everyone has a price. If I had that, I would never give it away. I would absolutely never give that away.
But if you had more money than God and the ability to just strike a check for something that you're like, boy, if I had the money, man, I would pay whatever it takes to get this. Does that exist?
The thing is, I don't know. I have enough research to think about like if these things exist, like if they're where they are or if they're out there. I would love to have Vince Lombardi's hat.
The famous one where he's wearing it on the sideline so
Yep.
often.
Yep, but I couldn't tell you where that is. If it
Might
exists,
be in the Packers Hall of Fame.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Might
But
be.
as a big hat guy, that would be something that I would every time someone came in my house.
You
I'd
would
be like,
be a
"Let's go-
fedora guy. Do
let's
you
go
own
look at the hat."
fedoras?
I don't. I can't pull off a fedora. If I.
But you think you can pull off that hat?
The one, no, his? No, I'm not putting it on. Are you kidding me? No, I would be like, what's his face in Ferris Bueller. He doesn't sit in it. He just wipes it with a diaper. That's how I would be.
This conversation came up towards the end of last year when a 1935 Packers stock certificate sold for $109,800. And that made me go, if I had an extra $109,800, hypothetically speaking, I would not cut a check for a 1935 Packers stock certificate. That doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. It doesn't do it for me.
What would?
But then I was like, all right, well, what would?
Yeah.
Are there items out there that have been bought and sold that I would go, ooh, if I had the money, I definitely would have bought that? A few things came to mind. The first one was Robin Yount's 3,000th hit.
Okay.
The bat, some time ago, sold for $48,841. The ball sold for $34,176. And if memory serves me right, that ball is on display in the Bud Selig Experience at AmFam
Okay.
Field.
I'm glad you said that, because I was like, I didn't think that was just something that was floating around. I think that's maybe the other thing with me is that I'm kind of the Indiana Jones in this way, which I know you don't get the reference because you've never seen any of the movies.
Who?
But it belongs in a museum. These things belong in a museum. So every time I hear that they're at auction, I'm going, why are they for sale? They should be in a museum.
Rhino texted in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk-In text line, 414-677-1250, and said there was a West Point sweater that Lombardi owned that was found at Goodwill in North Carolina, bought for less than $1 and sold for, at auction, for $43,000. It actually was Vince Lombardi's personally worn sweater.
How do you know that?
Apparently, you look it up somehow and prove that it was right. And in February of 2015, it sold for just over $43,000. West Point on the front, the Lombardi style, I guess.
Did you
how do you figure that out?
Did you watch Pawn Stars?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like it's heyday. I used to watch Pawn Stars all the time. And I always got bummed when someone would come in with a Super Bowl ring and it would be like, yeah, I got this player's Super Bowl ring. And I'm going, how do you sell that? If you're the player, how do you sell that? Right? We talked to John Kuhn. We asked him, we said, it was right after we talked to Bonnie Blair. We talked about how cool her setup was. And we asked John, I said, what's your setup with your rings? And he said, nah, I don't have them set up. I don't get it. If I was ever in that situation, there's no way I wouldn't have it on display and have it. It's never leaving me. That's what I did. That's my prized possession in physical form.
We have seen that over the years, unfortunately, where some old school Packers run into financial trouble and have to sell some of their stuff.
Oh.
This happened with Oscar Robertson's 1971 Bucks NBA championship ring. I'm not sure why he chose to sell it or who chose to sell it on his behalf, but it sold for $91,137.60.
I have heard a few stories of athletes when they get older going, I can't take it with me, and then they end up selling it and then the money goes to charity. And so they do something like that, which is nice, and I understand, but I'm still mad it's not on display. Like, a lot of that should be in a museum.
Can you imagine being the family of that particular NFL, whoever it was, going, I can't take it with me, so I'm going to sell it and give it to auction, to which I, as a grandkid, would have been like, hi.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Auction.
Pretty proud of you, actually.
I'll take it.
Love to keep that. The only other piece that I think of in regard to if I had the money, would I purchase it? And I've behind me on my set, I've got some things that are near and dear to my heart. And you and I talked about how we both have a Hank Aaron signed baseball. I have no idea what that would go for, but I'm never selling it because it's a family heirloom.
Same.
Back here, I have a brick from County Stadium. My father-in-law got it for me for Christmas years ago. And that means the world to me. Now, how many bricks from County Stadium are out there?
Right.
Hundreds of thousands.
Correct.
But it's still memorable. And that's what I believe memorabilia means is, does it have a personal connection to you that brings back memories? And that's why so many people are willing to cut these checks and then hang this thing up in their house to go, man, I remember that. I was there for that.
And that's always been the thing for me. Nothing against all the amazing memorabilia shops, right? That allow you to go and get a signed piece from your favorite player that you might, you want to be able to put on display. But you're not getting the story. It's not being handed down to you because your great grandpa, it was your great grandpa's and they kept being passed down. It wasn't something where you were there, you caught a ball and then ran into the player and had him sign it. That's what makes this stuff priceless. That's the difference. Signetti's headset, right? That wasn't like he walked off the field Mean Joe Green style and threw it and said, "Here you go, kid." Like this was so somehow it got to someone who put it to auction and they're having it just for its historical value. In which that case, it should be in a museum.
Some good ones here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. My ex-girlfriend's mom has 3 pint glasses displayed in their house. She was a bartender in Green Bay, and Favre, Winters, and Chimura all used them. So she grabbed them. Weird, right?
Brilliant.
Kind of cool.
That's a great story. Right. It's a great story. And you probably have their DNA.
Yep. Oh, that's weird.
That's what makes it weird.
A conversation for a different day, Josh. And maybe a future top 5 list, although I think it's bigger than that.
Okay.
What about ticket stubs?
Oh, I miss
There are
ticket
so
stubs.
many people listening that have saved ticket stubs from over the years, and some really cool ones and some really unmemorable ones, unfortunately. I love the story of ticket stubs. I have a buddy that has ticket stubs from all of the years. They're on a table with a glass top on it, and they're just mixed in. They literally threw them on the table, spread them all out, and then put a piece of glass over it.
Yep.
And you can kind of pick and poke and see, like, oh, what was that game? What was this game? Such a blast. I would love someday, although I don't think I'd ever be able to bring myself to do it, to build a bar and do that epoxy on ticket stubs. Yeah, but
I've built a
now
bar.
they're screwed.
Yeah, do it. Why?
Forever.
Well, yeah,
Like-
now they're part of the bar.
Right. And if it didn't go well and you ruined all those,
Yeah,
it was
it's still risk. I got to say though, 2 things about ticket stubs quick. First, when the Bucks won the championship, they put something out there to where you could validate the seat you were in if you were at Game 6, and you could buy like a put in glass ticket stub because there weren't physical tickets, so that you could do that. Also, the Brewers, if you go to a Brewer game and everything's digital, if you want a ticket stub for proof of the game, guest services will give you a physical ticket stub in the game. And so if you're like, I want to remember this game, it was my kid's first game, it was whatever, you can get that memorabilia from the Brewers. They will give you a physical ticket stub inside the game. I think that's very cool.
And I've been taking screenshots of the ticket that's on your phone now. Like if we go to a game and all the tickets are on my phone, yet we have another couple with us or something or friends, I'll take a screenshot of that and just send it to them and go, hey, here's your ticket from today's game. Like Aaron Rodgers' last game against the Lions, we had some friends with us for that one. Screenshot, sent it to them. Hey, guys, here's your 2024, 2023, whatever it was, ticket stub. Yay, world.
Yeah, but wouldn't it have been cool as just being able to say you were at his last home Packers game to go to guest services and get a physical ticket stub to have as that souvenir?
100%. I completely agree.
Brilliant idea.
We'll cover a few more of the pieces of memorabilia that you're sharing with us here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Some good ones coming in. And next, as well as the top of the next hour, we got to dive into this whole dive bar thing here in Wisconsin. Josh and I have been floating an idea of potentially taking a Wisconsin tiny tavern tour. Let us know what you think your favorite sports bar / dive bar is, and are they the same thing? And at the top of the next hour, we're going to talk about what makes a Wisconsin dive bar a Wisconsin dive bar. And no, it's not a soup and salad bar.
Yes, this is finally something we can both be on the same page about.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. The state of Wisconsin is chiming in, Josh, on all things sports memorabilia. What the coolest piece is that you own that you think is worth something, or the definition of memorabilia, literally a memory that you have of something. We appreciate all of you listening on 99.7 FM WNFL in Green Bay and the Fox Valley, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth, Superior, and 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. Make sure to follow us on social media at WI Sports Radio, at Trevor Thomas IW, and at On Air Josh on the Twitter. Whoa, memorabilia. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh. Let's get to a few of these and then tease the Tiny Tap Tour and Thirsty Thursday and all the things that go into a dive bar here in Wisconsin that Jared Schutz, the guy behind the Wisco Dive Bar reviews on social media at Wisco Dive Bars, does a phenomenal job of showcasing these. So we are thinking about doing a little Tiny Tap Tour. We'll continue to think about that and talk about that at the top of the next hour. Josh, there are more items here that I think we're going to have time to get to, but let's do our best. We'll start with this one from the 262 that says, my coolest item is probably the signed headshot of Mike Holmgren that I sent in with a letter to him in first grade. And like a month later, he sent it back and signed it. That's awesome.
That's so cool. That's so cool, especially with it being like, you never know. You're sending that off, you might never see that again.
A lot of ticket stubs getting sent in. We'll do our best to save these, or you do your best to make sure to save that for a different conversation, because I think ticket stubs and memorabilia are two separate things. Although I can see the same bucket, I think they're a completely separate conversation. Chris in Little Chute, what's more valuable, I guess, for a lack of better word, having Kurt Warner's autograph when he was a Packer or Brett Favre as a Packer? I mean, both Super Bowl champions, right?
True.
The 262 says, fellas, I'm not a big memorabilia guy, but I have the program and the ticket stub from the last Packer game at County Stadium. Great game where Favre dove into the end zone to get into the playoff. That's Steve in Richfield. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
And
exactly
honestly, I bet you could get a decent amount of money for that, especially if Favre were to sign it, per se. In 1967, another one from Steve, my uncle took me to the Herman Hermits concert. I have a charm bracelet with all their faces on it. That's a piece of memorabilia from the 970. Sorry, Steve. I thought that was a separate one from you. What else do you see, Josh?
Yeah, I got one here from the 414 that said, hi, I have the ticket stub of the night Robin Yount got his 3,000th hit, and I got him to sign it that night, as well as I followed up with an 8x10 photo of his swing getting that hit that I had him sign as well. That's what I'm talking about. That's very, very cool. The 414 says, Josh, thank you for that info on getting tickets at Brewer games for memorable games at guest services. Yeah, if you missed that last segment, if you ever want to get that ticket stub, if you are a ticket stub lover and you are hating that they're on the digital world, I know for sure that the Brewers do that. I'm not saying that the other major sports franchises in the state don't. I'm just only aware that the Brewers do. So, but keep that in mind. You can go get that from guest services.
Here's a good one from the 262. I saved the sports section of the day after every Packer game of the 96 season. 19 sports sections total. It completely tells the story of that season.
So cool.
Phenomenal.
So
I have
cool.
the Green Bay Press Gazette from that Super Bowl, right? By the way, pause. Papers used to be huge.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, kids, a newspaper is something that you used to hold in the morning.
Hey, it's still there. They're still printing it.
Yeah, you think kids know? I brought my niece and nephew into the radio station. They're 14 years old. And there are 6 radio stations in the building that I'm sitting in here in Green Bay. And I said, hey, what's your favorite radio station? I'll go and give you a station of a tour of the studio.
Yeah.
What do you think their answer was?
They gave you a podcast.
Don't have one.
Yeah.
No radio station. Now, that's different for things like sports talk, because you can't get this anywhere else in live form other than, you can stream it per se, but you get what I'm saying. Music, a lot of options. Sports talk, maybe not so much.
That was my favorite when I had a younger person that said, "Oh, I love your podcast, that Inside Wisconsin Sports podcast you do," and I go,
Right.
where are you listening to it? And they go, "Oh, in my dad's car," and I'm like, "Believe it or not, that is called a radio show."
Yeah, but then we podcast it.
But then we also podcast.
That's a whole different conversation,
Yeah.
man. There really is. All right, when we come back, we got to dive into this Tiny Tap Tour, Thirsty Thursday, Wisconsin dive bars. So many of you are already texting in your favorite ones. Let us know, what dive bars do you guys like to frequent, and what makes it a Wisconsin dive bar? Thanks to whoever was going to text in a soup and salad bar. Beat you to it. Sorry, little
Supper Club?
Gotcha.
Is that supper?
No,
does that mean Supper
no,
Club?
different conversation.
Oh, okay.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're inside Wisconsin sports with Trevor and Josh. What's your favorite dive bar, Wisconsin? And maybe Josh and I will come and do a show from there, but they got to open up at 6 a.m.
Your fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. It's going to be partly cloudy conditions today with a high of 34 degrees. It's currently 22 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to stop the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
I'm really proud to be an Olympian considering the entire path that I've come on, right? After all the years of training and thinking about it as a kid, it finally happened and paid off.
It's good to see that somebody can start something and give their best all the way through, and the end result is going to the Olympics. It can be done just on a pond in your backyard.
Jordan Stolz is coming. Now he goes to work on the inside corner. And here goes Stolz, blowing right past Yannick DeBow. The best speed skater in the world flies to an Olympic record and the lead.
Jordan Stolz bringing home gold, home to Wisconsin. 1 down, 3 to go. The best speed skater in the world sets the Olympic record, hopefully bringing 3 more of those gold medals back to Kewaska. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in. Hour number 3 of Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. Talking about dive bars here in Wisconsin. When it comes to sporting events, whether it's Brewers baseball or a Packer game, many of us think about our favorite Wisconsin dive bar and go and camp out there. Or if you're like me, every once in a while on a random Friday when I have nothing going on a Friday afternoon, because we've had one hell of a week already, I'll go to Max Pub and Grill, my favorite dive bar here in Northeast Wisconsin, and I'll have lunch. And then blink, 5 hours later, I'm hammered and it's 5 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, let's have a Friday, shall we?
Sure.
You get your foot stuck in the fun wheel.
Yeah, of course. Our friend John Kuhn, he knows a few things about dive bars as well. And I'd be interested to get his opinion. But one of the things back in a previous life, when dive bars were discussed quite often, were what makes a dive bar? What makes it a dive bar? Because some people would say, oh, this is my dive bar. And you go, that's not a dive bar, bud. That's just a bar. Or that's barely a bar. That's a restaurant. So I want to know, you just said, what is yours? The one that you go to?
Max Pub and Grill.
Max Pub and Grill. The fact that it has Pub and Grill in the name makes me immediately, because I've never been there, I don't know. But like I need some details. What makes that bar a dive bar?
First things first, there's 0 handicap accessibility.
Okay.
It is so old that it is literally in the basement of a home.
There we go.
It is out in the country-ish. It's on the edge of town now, but it started in the country. And that's how my favorite dive bar of all time, Captain's Corners in Jefferson, Wisconsin, started as well. It's no longer with us. Moment of silence.
Oh, R.I.P.
Thank you. Stupid bypass went right through the bar.
Ooh.
Max Pub and Grill is literally a basement bar. There's an apartment that used to be the home of the original owners. And when you went into this thing back when you could smoke in a Wisconsin bar, There was no getting out of there without a haze of just the smoke smell. Kids these days don't know what it's like to wake up the morning after a late night at a Wisconsin dive bar and take a shower and have cigarette smoke just pile off of you in the shower.
Yeah.
Out of your hair. Oh, those are the days.
My favorite dive bar is also my local bar, the Castle Inn here. It is, the outside of it looks like a little bit of like a castle look, but it is literally their home. Their bedroom is above the bar. If you are trying to go to the bathroom and you walk past the bathroom to the next door, you will end up in their kitchen, not the bar's kitchen. There is no kitchen for the bar. You are in the owner's kitchen, like with their home sweet home signs up on the wall. You will be transported out of the bar and into a person's home. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is a bar. I love it.
So that's part of the conversation is there are bars, churches in small town Wisconsin. That's it. So what makes a dive bar a dive bar? And I think per your dive bar comparison there and compared to mine, Max Pub and Grill, I would call it a dive bar because it's a Wisconsin country bar. And some other people's considerations for dive bars may be different. So what qualifies a Wisconsin bar as a dive bar? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan talk-in text line. This comes up because Josh and I are considering, keyword considering, don't know the hoops we have to jump through quite yet, or the legal crap.
Hashtag legal.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's not a giveaway.
No.
Per se. It's just an idea. So here's the idea. Can we come up with a way to feature a Wisconsin dive bar during a segment on Thursday we call Thirsty Thursday, where we'll feature a Wisconsin dive bar every Thursday? And if calendars and stars align with schedules and capabilities, can we show up at the featured dive bar that next Friday morning? Where is it? Who's there? What time is it open? What are the logistics? All things that we have to think about.
Yeah, this is an ideation meeting happening live on the air. That's what this is. But
you'll get that with a couple creatives.
We also want to know, and because I love this conversation, of what makes a bar a dive bar. JB in the 920 immediately was like, no, Max is not a dive bar. And then he walked it back a little bit and he went, all right, maybe it's a little bit of a dive bar. I know plenty of people that would say if they have a full kitchen, it's not a dive bar.
Yeah, but you got to define full kitchen. If it's the size of your closet.
Yeah, but if you're putting out wings, wraps, sandwiches, burgers, that's a full bar and grill, to your point, which is in the name. That's a full menu. A lot of people would say not a dive bar. Some people say if you have more than the chip clip wall and some beef sticks, it's not a dive bar. And I love this conversation because there's no true solid answer. It's all opinion. It's kind of like, and I know it's going to be different for you, but down here in southeastern Wisconsin, a lot of people like to have the conversation of what's up north. Everyone goes, oh, I'm heading up north. Well, what's up north to you? Some people up north might not be until you're to Rhinelander. Some people go, oh no, anything north of Appleton is up north. It's different. It's different for different people. Same with dive bars.
Katie from Luxembourg, love me some good old school dive bars. She goes on to say, don't care if I can name a favorite, or don't know if I can name a favorite, but anywhere that's got some wood paneling, some chips hanging from the ceiling, to Josh's point, a $5 cheeseburger basket special, and tall boys of beer, call me. I'm there. By the way, P.S., good morning, guys. You're the best as well. So what? What'd you see?
This one for the 404, perfect description. If you bring in an out-of-town friend to your bar and they start off by saying, ugh, then that's a dive bar.
Yeah. See, that's the way Max Pub and Grill was before it became Max Pub and Grill. It was a bar called Gertz's, and it was when you walked in. The owners have done a great job of making it much lighter. I'm talking about paint color.
Yeah.
Start there.
It's kind of like the comedian's name is Jeff Foxworthy, where he says, "You might be a redneck, you might be in a dive bar if."
Yeah, you might be a dive bar.
Brad in the 414 says, "If the hot food menu is anything more than cheese, sausage, pepperoni deluxe, it's not a dive bar."
What if you make your own pizza? Like Max makes their own pizza, but that's in addition to the closet-sized kitchen that they're known for instead of grabbing a frozen pizza.
See, I don't know. I don't know if you're making pizzas. I don't know, man.
So here's my question. If we did this segment, and let's be honest, one of us might be able to go, one of us might not be able to go. It all depends on personal schedules and what all that means.
And where in the state. It's a big state.
Well, challenge accepted.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a cell phone signal and or internet? That's all we need. One or the other. Both would be wonderful, but we are talking about a dive bar, right? So let's hypothetically say that on Thirsty Thursday, in a segment we do here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, we come up with picking one of your favorite dive bars, Wisconsin, and we say, if logistics work, we're coming there tomorrow. The question is, would you come? Would you join us if we started an Inside Wisconsin Sports Wisconsin Tiny Tap Tour?
Keep in mind that a lot of these dive bars, even if there's 2 tree of you, it's good because it's a dive bar.
Yeah.
We don't need
we can't have 100
people.
Most likely.
Right. Won't fit.
Capacity 38. Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right. Here's a quick story of this dive bar situation. What else makes dive bars is not only the place, but the people.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a bar not long ago, late at night, and there was a gentleman that maybe had a couple 2 tree too many. And he hit the deck, and blood was abound.
Uh-oh.
And 911 was called, and he refused service. But in true Trevor form, when I kind of realized that the situation was more of a holy crap, this is a great story and not a serious situation.
Sure. I
noticed that the jukebox was still on. And I started playing songs that were like, "Let the bodies."
Oh, my gosh.
I did this. This has really happened. Bad boys, what you want, what you gonna do?
I can't believe they left it on.
I know. It was just, I saw the opportunity, and by golly, I took it. Would you guys come out to a Tiny Tap Tour in the state of Wisconsin? Now, let's get past the legal part. #legal. Legally, bars can open at 6 a.m. here in Wisconsin. There are a number of bars here in Green Bay on an area called Broadway that open at 6 a.m. because that's when the shift changes at the paper mills. And a lot of the guys that work overnight, guys and gals, will hit the bar. No different than if we worked a 12-hour day from 6 to 6, we might hit the bar on the way home. So if we did a Tiny Tap Tour, can you help us? How do we choose one? Is it just by random? Do we take a list? Not it. Do we make a list of all of these? Yep, the 2. Do we make a list of all of these tiny taps that you guys recommend and just put them in a hat? And then if it's in a 2-hour rate, I don't know. I can get away with this. My life and my wife, we're at a different place in life where I can probably make this work for my schedule. I think it would be harder, A, for you, just with your family situation and your young kids, and B, you run the ship.
Yeah, if you think you're doing this idea and going to dive bars without me, you're out of your mind.
Well, then we got to start the planning, brother. But how do we do this? How do we do this the day after? Because that's what would make this fun. We ask people to tune in every Thursday at 8 a.m. Josh and I are going to choose the Tiny Tap of the day, the dive bar Tiny Tap of the day, and we're coming to see you tomorrow morning.
The 414 here says, can we get a week notice so they can get off of work? So could it be that on a Thursday we would talk about it for the following week's Friday?
See, that's a great idea.
This is why we were having the ideation meeting on air.
Yep, we need your help.
Are we?
So, all right, a week's notice. Are you taking notes? I should probably write this down.
No, but the show's podcasted. So if you miss anything, you can go to wisportsradio.com or any of your favorite podcast platforms, and you can listen to any part of the show, including this part where we had our ideation meeting. That's why we did it here. I don't have to take notes. We're
Well,
doing the
one
show.
week notice. 1 week notice is a good one. Like maybe we can take off of work. There's probably some planning. So let's just say hypothetically on Thursday at 8, we announced that next Friday on our Tiny Tap tour, the first stop is gonna be blank, and then next Friday we go there. But on the next Thursday, we'll announce the next one.
Yeah.
Can we? Dude, our Fridays just got so much better.
Yeah, they're gonna be stacked. They're gonna be stacked.
Saturday's gonna suck, but Friday's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be happening so early in the morning. Hey, are we? Do you know? Who are we crossing over with today? Do we got John?
No, I think.
Or Rami.
Well, who was it yesterday?
I don't
ago.
remember. No, it was that long ago.
I think it was Rami yesterday because
yeah.
we saved his Valentine's Day. So it's John today. John Kuhn today.
All right, perfect. So because we've had a lot of people from the old world that have been texting in about, oh, you should ask Kuhn, because as I mentioned, Kuhn pointed out and has been to many a dive bar in the state of Wisconsin, and yeah, love to get his opinion on this as well. So for everyone texting in, being curious or wanting us to talk to him about it, we will at in a couple 2-tree segments here.
We got a lot of bars to put on the list, Josh. I mean, look at this. Blue Collar Bar on Broadway in Green Bay. We've got any bar on Packard Avenue in Cudahy is a dive bar.
I mean,
some
I'm not
of these
gonna lie,
bars might take offense to this too, by the way.
You
I'm
go
not
to,
sure
you go to West Dallas, close your eyes, turn around, open them. You're probably looking at a dive bar.
A dive bar is when every single person, when you walk in, turns around and looks at you.
True.
That is the truth. And now try being grossly tall.
Yeah.
And have people go, what the?
No, I don't think they say anything. They
no,
just turn
but with
look.
their eyeballs, do they ever?
Yeah, it's true.
It is loud. Antlers in Monona. All right, I'm writing these down. Antlers, the Stumble Inn in Paris. Where the hell is Paris, Wisconsin?
Ooh, I don't know.
I wonder if our guy from Wisco Dive Bars not only would have the list, he clearly does, but maybe he'll come along. We'll have to reach out to that cat. There's a lot of good ones here. Wow. They're Slammer Inn in Green Bay. That's actually in Greenleaf, I think. I might be wrong on that. Institute Saloon in Door County. You can stick your dollar to the ceiling with a quarter. Got to try it. That happened at there's Baumgartner's, I think it is, down in. I was there for a Deeper Roots episode on the podcast for not the Inside Wisconsin Sports Podcast, the Inside Wisconsin podcast. Confusing sometimes. What else? What other dive bars? Get them in. We'll make a list. We'll clear this with legal.
I was going to say,
or do we just ask for forgiveness?
No, I think I can already feel in my bones
what could legally go wrong?
The emails being sent.
What could legally go wrong?
Everything.
We're not giving
Literally
anything away. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, literally everything.
I've been through this whole segment. I've been looking at my phone, waiting for. Oh, here's Sparky. Okay, just waiting for the text to start coming in.
All we're doing is broadcasting live from a dive bar. We're not giving anything away that has to be clear with. We're not doing any contests with alcohol. We're just trying to promote a small business here in Wisconsin. So to wrap this up, let me read this to you. I got a text from my buddy Mike. Mike says, I will invite you to one of our Tiny Tavern tour visits sometime. He and 13 other people visit a new Tiny Tavern in the area the third Thursday of every month. They've been doing it for many years, and they never repeat one unless it changes the name. So they pay dues, they pay fines. I don't know what goes into the dues and what the fines would be, but they have a blast. And here's the whole goal of this. It allows us to infuse money into a smaller establishment that none of us have ever been to. The point of this is some of us have definitely been to these, but can we get a group of people to come and infuse money into these small taverns here in Wisconsin, especially during the summer? Summer is a hard time for the bar business in Wisconsin. If you don't have any outdoor seating, or if you don't have like a piece of food that brings you into these bars on a regular, in the summertime, it's tough because we're all outside doing summertime things. Why? Because look outside with it now. We're all stuck inside for the most part.
Very true.
All right, so let us know. Maybe, you know what? Do this. Do us this favor, and then we're going to break because we're going to chat with Vinny Rotino from Brewers.tv. I didn't mean to make Jeff angry about that yesterday, but the Brewers broadcast team, Vinny Rotino, joins us next. Do us a solid, Wisconsin. Go and tag Josh and I on Twitter. On Air Josh, Trevor Thomas IW on Twitter, and let us know what tiny tavern, what dive bar you want us to add to this list. And then we'll see if we need to ask for permission or forgiveness.
Yeah, then hashtag logistics. That's what's happening after the show.
Logistics or hashtag legal?
Both.
Hashtag legal, hashtag logistics, hashtag let's have a blast.
Yeah. I love it.
414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Get your questions in for Vinny Rotino. He joins us next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Now I'm thirsty.
Full count to every batter this inning. Sanchez, high fly ball, center field. Togman is back. Togman's at the wall, and Gary does it again. Another eighth-inning two-run homer puts the Brewers in front. John Sterling was right. Gary is scary, and the Brewers lead it 6-4.
Brian Anderson on the call, May 30th, 2024. Cubs, AmFam Field, and a tie-breaking two-run homer in the bottom of the eighth for the new backup catcher, the new old backup catcher, Gary Sanchez.
There you go.
How about his name?
That works too.
Brewers won 6-4 in that game, and that late game home run flipped it for him. So let's talk to a different member of the broadcast crew, shall we? Our guy, Vinny Rotino, joins us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Vinny, A, thanks for being here. First time on the show. And B, happy spring training, man. Good to see you.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, guys. Yes, and spring training is a signal. I know you guys were just talking about on the show how long and ugly and nasty this winter has been. So let's go ahead and get to spring training. It's a signal that this winter is coming to an end soon. Thank goodness. And yeah, baseball, Brewers baseball coming right up.
So we just talked yesterday to Jeff Levering, and to kick off this conversation, we're wondering if you will share, because he wasn't willing. What are your nicknames for each other in this whole little cribbage tournament thing?
That is not appropriate for on the air. This is the wrong show, morning show for that. So yeah, no, we get at each other quite ruthlessly. So it's a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm planning on defending my crown again this year. So can't wait.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. When does that start? How does that? When does the whole cribbage game between the two of you that start?
Yeah, so we have bylaws written into the rules and stuff. So what we do is every game that we're working together in the booth, it's an official sanctioned match towards the cribbage championship, the Jeff Levering Vinny Rotino cribbage championship for that season. So last year I won. I think I won by a couple of games. And so if we work together, let's say 40 games, then there's going to be 40 matches, sanctioned matches, and then whoever wins the majority of those games is crowned the champion for that season.
And you were the champion last year, but how many years has this been going on now?
3 years now. So Jeff won the first year, and then I've won back-to-back championships. So
ever since. I always use the words ever since.
Yeah, look at you.
Ever since.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary Sanchez back in a Brewers uniform. When I saw this news, I immediately went, all right, I'm not gonna overreact to exactly what his role is on the team, because I feel like so much is up in the air with this team going into spring training. With this signing, where do you think the Brewers are utilizing him, and how much are they utilizing Gary Sanchez?
Where it sits today, guys, I can imagine that he's going to be slotted in to be the backup catcher behind William Contreras. I think that maybe they're going to want to see just a little bit more progression. And I'm speculating here, but this is how I would kind of play it if I was GM. So I think they're going to try and see if Jefferson Caro's arm can progress a little bit more. If after that shoulder surgery, we're talking about a guy that had elite arm strength, and now the arm strength isn't quite all the way back yet. So hopefully maybe that'll come back, and maybe start him in AAA. He can serve as depth with Reese McGuire down in AAA to be the backup catchers as depth in AAA. And so then Gary would be the primary backup catcher for William Contreras. Gary even caught in winter ball, 3 games caught in winter ball. So I think he wanted to show everybody that he had a little bit of knee issue last year with Baltimore. And so the knee was ready and healthy to go, ready to go. And this guy can still hit. I mean, he can still hit homers. You just played the highlight of him hitting that big home run against the Cubs in 2024 season. And so I think he's going to provide that thump in the bat and the ability to kind of handle the pitching staff as well as that backup catcher. From everything I've heard, he wants to be a Brewer, believe it or not. So this guy, he loved it in Milwaukee. He loved the coaching staff. He loved Pat Murphy. And so that is a good sign for a guy. Earlier on in his career, there was a lot of question marks around his makeup and his want and desire to be a catcher and that guy that can lead a pitching staff. That was early in his career when he was one of the top prospects in all of baseball. Now he's 33. And so now he's kind of matured a little bit. And that's kind of the sweet spot. We've seen that from catchers before, like Manny Pena, remember, that sweet spot of like when they get into their early 30s, early mid 30s, they kind of mature into that identity. And Gary, it seems like he's done that and he's willing to take on that role of being that leader for the pitching staff and then that guy that can hit a home run every once in a while.
Vinny Rotino, Brewers.tv broadcast. I don't know. Joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports.
Brewers TV. We had a big conference call about it. So we got on the conference call. There was about 20 of us on there. It's Brewers TV. And then we all went our separate ways. It was about a 3-minute meeting. No. They did specify that that's what it's going to be called, Brewers TV this year.
And so the announcement was made where you can find it in cable and satellite, although you don't know the channel yet, but also what your streaming options are for us to engage with Vinny and all the rest of the crew on the Brewers broadcast for the 2026 season. We know how to find you. We know who's going to be there, but we don't know who's at third base. If you're a betting man, who gets the start when the game starts?
David Hamilton would be my guess. So remember, they traded for David Hamilton, for Kyle Harrison, for a guy named Shane Drohan when they shipped Caleb Durbin over to Boston. So that was kind of the swap. And David Hamilton was a guy that they had in their minor league system, and he was sought out in the Hunter Renfroe deal, remember, way back in 2021 by Boston. So now they're swapping him back to Milwaukee. He's a guy with a super live body, right? So he's super athletic. He's got some pop in the bat. He had a really good year, a solid year in 2024. He was kind of serving as the primary utility guy for the Boston Red Sox, meaning you play a bunch of different infield positions. Left-handed hitter, hit against right-handed pitching, hit some home runs that year, had a solid year. But then last year he regressed a little bit, can really run, steals bases, really good stolen base percentage. Doesn't get caught very often. But this is a Brewers type of guy that gets on base, steals bases, plays good defense, and hopefully they can tweak something with that bat. Now, I do think Jet Williams is a guy that they're probably kind of pegging and keeping an eye on to make sure, that this guy could really serve as that third baseman, and potentially be an impact type of a player. I think that's what they're kind of hoping. I think David Hamilton's probably going to be a stopgap until that happens, and maybe they want to see Jet Williams play in AAA a little bit this year. That would be my guess. Now, he could all of a sudden just really impress in spring training, Jet Williams, and be that guy. Remember, they got Jet Williams from the Mets in the Freddie Peralta deal, so that was a top prospect shipping over, one of the top prospects in their system that the Brewers now have for the next 6 years or more, depending on how often, if he plays in the big leagues right away here for the Brewers. So we'll see what happens, but I do think it's David Hamilton first, and then I think Jet Williams for the long haul in this season of 2026.
Vinny, I've asked a lot of your colleagues that we've had on the show this same question, so I'm going to ask it to you. A lot of prospects, big group of prospects down there that are going to be making their way to spring training, a lot of buzz about the prospects. Do we see any of them? You just pointed out Jet Williams. Do we see any of them make the roster throughout the season, and who?
Yeah, I do. I think that main guy is going to be Jet Williams. Now, I think the other guy that you really want to keep your eye on this season and potentially if he starts to hit even a little bit, it's going to be Cooper Pratt, right? So last year he was in Double-A all last year in Biloxi. He's the 56th ranked prospect in all of baseball right now, Cooper Pratt. He can really pick it at shortstop. A lot of the very trusted talent evaluators that I know around the game, they talk about his glove being not only plus, but potentially Gold Glove winning in the future. It's that good at shortstop. So you're talking about a guy who could really take over in the future at short for Joey Ortiz, potentially if Joey Ortiz starts to struggle. But I'm such a believer in Joey Ortiz. I don't know if I want to see him struggle. I think he's going to start to hit this season. But it is that name, Cooper Pratt, that if he turns it around a little bit, gets a little bit bigger and stronger this season and starts to impact the baseball a little bit in AAA, I think you could potentially see him vying for that spot at short just because that glove is so good. And then the other guy that came over in the Freddie Peralta deal was Brandon Sproat, 100th ranked prospect in all of baseball right now. And really, really impressive stuff coming over from the Mets. Fastball sinker up to 97. So gets a lot of ground balls, going to fit really nicely into this Brewers rotation with that great defense behind him. And they kind of rely on those ground balls, but has a really good breaking ball as well. Has all the mix. He has all the pitch mix that you need to be a starter. Really looks like a starter. Repeatable, athletic delivery. So checks a lot of boxes. That kid is going to be a good one. And with Chris Hook getting his arms around him, you never know how high that ceiling is going to get.
Vinny Rotino on Inside Wisconsin Sports, not Vinny Castilla. Vinny Rotino.
Yeah, good call. That was a mistake by my boss in the president, right, Rick Schlesinger. Hey, I took that as flattering because that guy could play. I couldn't play, so I was terrible. And Vinny Castilla could pick it and he hit bombs. So that was quite flattering by my boss.
One more before we let you go, man. We had Doug Gottlieb on the show yesterday. We do every Wednesday, and he told us how much Brian Anderson means to him. And I know BA. And I'm not trying to do some weird song and dance for BA, but I was thinking about this and chatting with you today and how BA, much like Doug talked about yesterday, helps people that are good become great. And Vinny Rotino is one of those guys. So how much does BA mean to you? And what is the story that led this to all come to fruition for you to be on Brewers TV?
Yeah, I never in a million years would have dreamed that I would become a broadcaster on TV and be able to talk about my passion. The thing that I love very, very much is the game of baseball and Brewers baseball. And BA was the reason. He facilitated that. Not only did he facilitate the opportunity for me to be on the air, but he also facilitated my growth in the role. I wasn't very good at this. I go around the state a little bit and talk to schools and talk about, working hard and having, mentors and just kind of the motivational speech type of thing. And I show the clip of me when I was first on the air. It was not good. It's kind of cringeworthy, in fact. But BA, again, just like really digging into some tips that he gives me and talks to me, and he did talk to me, and he doesn't really give this much anymore. I feel like, not that I've arrived by any stretch of the imagination. I continue to work on my craft, but he helped me in every step of the way, guys. The guy is just so selfless with how he gives. And I said, BA, why are you doing this? He goes, well, because a lot of people helped me along the way. And I just want to give back, pay it forward, pay it back, pay it forward. And so he's like, and I want you to do this, to do the same thing. And so I'm tried to do that in different aspects. I don't know if I can mentor anybody at this role at this point. But, in the game of baseball, I have a lot of connections and try and help out kids around the state. And so it is a testament to the person that BA is. And yeah, he means a lot to me. And I wouldn't be here doing this. I love broadcasting more than I actually loved playing, and I loved playing. So this is a dream come true for me, and it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, we'll get to watch you and listen to you all season long. Brewers baseball right around the corner. Vinny Rotino on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Josh, I was at a game with my family I think it was last season. We were sitting in the bleachers, and I look left, and all I see is this gorgeous head of lettuce. He's got amazing hair. And I texted him. I'm like, I have a view of your lettuce right now that I am just in envy of.
Hair envy. Yeah, you get that a lot. Yeah.
You do the bald thing very well, Trevor. So I mean, I bet a lot of bald heads are envious of your bald head. So
yeah, well, I'm working on it. I think. I don't know. All right, Vinny, good to see you, brother. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, anytime.
Thanks, Vinny.
When we come back, John Kuhn and all of his dive bar wisdom as we cross over with our friends from 9 to noon, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I'm serious. He's got great lettuce. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh, Toby Keith. I love this bar. Oh, I'm going to love this conversation. Joining us now, John Kuhn from 9 to noon. All right, Kuhn, we talked this morning. Josh and I want to do a tiny tap tour.
Crazy idea.
Dive bar tiny tap tour where we announce on Thursday where we're going to broadcast live from somewhere in the state of Wisconsin at a dive bar the following Friday. So hypothetically, let's say we started this week. We announced today where we're headed, and then next Friday we're there live. And then every Thursday we announce the next Friday. Josh says that you have a lot of dive bar experience I'm unaware of. What am I missing?
Good. I'm glad you guys are doing this. I'm very happy to hear this, to be quite frank with you, because I felt like this one was going to fall right back on my lap. No, this sounds like a great idea, Trevor. You guys are going to have so much fun traveling around the state, doing live remotes from dive bars every Friday. Oh, my gosh. I can't think of anything better for you guys.
That's sarcasm. What am I missing? Something's wrong. What is there something from the past?
No sarcasm at all. These dive bars, they're spectacular. And you know what, Trevor? I got a list. of about 48 of them for you to go to. And
Sure does.
Did he do this? Did he do this or what?
He did. He essentially did this. How'd
it go?
He did a dive bar review. It was John Kuhn that would go around and a few other people. And so John's been to a bunch of them and he rated it. It wasn't that they did it live. Right, John, You guys were never at the bars.
No, we didn't do them live. And in fact, I'm very interested to hear how the infrastructure is going to work for you guys doing it live.
That's why I said hashtag logistics.
Those air cards, they better turn up the heat.
That's what I told him.
Well, we'll see. We'll do it. We'll do our best, and we'll go from there. I had no idea there was history with that, by the way. That was just something that Josh and you and I have been talking about this for months now.
Yeah. I mean, full disclosure. I mean, Trevor was like, "Hey, I'd love to do some of the dive bars." I was like, yeah, I love dive bars. And then it went in my head and I went, why does that feel so familiar? Oh, yeah. I remember. No, because John went to so many dive bars, but you never were there live. You reviewed a lot of them, which was a great topic we talked about today on the show, John, about just what makes a dive bar a dive bar. Because if we're going to start going around to these dive bars and doing shows live, we can't do them from restaurants. Right? That people say are dive bars.
Here's the deal. There's all kinds of tiers of dive bars. There's the dive bars that only have about 3 beers that you can buy, right? With dirt floors and carpets for walls, right? You can do those dive bars. That's great. It'll be nice to do one of those every now and then. You can do the dive bars that only serve popcorn and potato chips. You can do those. You can do the dive bars that do actually make some pretty darn good bar food. You can go all the way. And then you know what? Every now and then you're going to do a dive bar that somebody's going to say, that's not a dive bar. That's just a sports bar. And you know what? You're going to have to take the heat and you're going to have to live it, because there's so many fun establishments to go to and do a show from. I'm excited for you guys. This is going to be so much fun. You guys are going to love every Friday.
If you can
I've never heard. So listen, John said there's no sarcasm. I believe him.
Okay.
But I've never heard him so excited for us in the past. So I just have my guard up a little bit.
Him.
All right.
Well, John, how about this? I was excited for you guys to get on the air together. I was excited when this thing got put together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That I believed. This one, I don't know that I do.
No. I'm very excited for you guys. This is such a great idea. This is such a great idea. It's such fun content and nothing. I don't see any problem with this. Nothing could go wrong.
Do you think you have to get anything cleared by legal?
Now that he said that, now I'm on your side, Trevor. Something's up.
All right. Good.
When he said nothing could go wrong, okay, now hold on.
Especially from the hours of 6 to 9 in the morning. I mean, there's only so many dive bars that are third shift bars. You guys are going to have a great time finding those.
Or we make them open early.
Yeah, or they'll open early.
Maybe.
You make them, huh? You make these little dive bar establishments.
Yeah, that's where the sarcasm is. Now
we're going to have 3 or 4 locals coming to them on a regular basis. And,
yeah, that's all you need is those 3 or 4 locals.
Yeah, and they normally close at about 10 o'clock at night because those locals have had their tree and they go home and they go to bed, and then they close up shop and they come back in the next day about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, or
you're going to get them to come in 7 hours early. Not even that, 8 hours early, because you got to open up and test run.
This doesn't sound supportive at all.
Or they had tree 4, fell asleep at the bar, and the owner just has to turn the lights back on, wake him up.
Yeah, perfect.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I would suggest you guys find third shift bars. It'd be a lot easier for you guys to try and make it happen.
Maybe we'll start here in Green Bay. With
So are you gonna join us for a few of these and prep the show from the bar?
No.
Oh.
No.
Why?
No, because I don't want to steal your bit. I don't want to be infringing on the great content of the Wisconsin sports,
there it is.
Radio show. There's no way I want to get any part of that. This is your baby. I want to see you grow and rear your child into something beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there it is.
What are you doing tonight, Kuhn? You want to go to the GB game with me?
No, I actually had a couple people reach out to me about that.
He's going to a dive
already.
bar.
Unfortunately, I already have plans in place. Being the eternal procrastinator that I am, I was unable to get reservations for actual Valentine's Day. So, de facto, Friday the 13th, Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
What are you doing tonight? It's Thursday the 12th.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is Thursday the 12th. My week is in fast forward, guys.
He tried to get out of it by saying a plan that's a day ahead of time. Ah, crap.
Well, the problem is you forget what day it is.
My whole excuse. Well, it sounds like you'll be seeing Trevor at the game tonight. Have fun, John.
And then he goes silent. All right.
Oh, I think we lost
Well, there's
him.
plenty of beat writers that'll be there. I know Matt Schneidman will be there. Rob Domofsky will be there. Trevor, you'll be in good hands.
Okay. Love you too. All right. 9 to noon. Up next, John Kuhn, Rami Makloff, Brandon Snide. Our thanks for you today. The engagement on this show today on the Talkin' Text line, the Nicolay Law fan Talkin' Text line was unbelievable. So grateful for all of you chiming in on sports memorabilia and dive bars and the Olympics. I mean, we're told, Josh, that we get a lot of text messages in comparison to other shows. And then I'll watch other shows and I'll go, oh, they get a lot of text messages too.
Yeah.
Today, I think we won already, and it's only just begun. So we cannot thank you all enough for listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports, engaging with us. Call if you want. Text when you can. We absolutely love interacting with all of you across the state of Wisconsin here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
You bet.
Maybe we start our Tiny Tap tour in like Wausau.
Oh, maybe you get that list from John. And
did you see the text? We've got a hell of a list right in front of us.
Oh, the 608
just said, yeah, you saw it?
Yep, sure did. That sarcasm was laid on thick.
I want to know what's going
today.
on. I don't think I have the whole story here.
Oh, I'll tell you when you're older.
Okay, thanks. Keeping me from the bad. How about we just start this and then you start telling me all the horror stories from when somebody tried this in the past.
Oh.
You know what? Challenge accepted. Come on, Wisconsin, have my back. Join us on the Dive Bar Tiny Tap Tour, the Inside Wisconsin Sports Dive Bar Tiny Tap Tour, coming to a town near you, if we can get it past legal.
That's right.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We'll see you tomorrow.
Because we're not done yet.